Uh, Hello everyone, am I audible? Am I audible? Just confirm. Okay. Uh, can you just what have you studied so far in your previous sessions? Can you just give me a recap? What have you been taught in the last three sessions? One, basics of HTML, CSS, and JS. Okay, fine. So today we'll be seeing around the CSS part, uh, how in the modern CSS works, uh, why we use Tailwind or other post CSS rather than the actual CSS3, and all this installation of React.js. So today, I guess I won't be able to continue for the 1.5 hour, but today class will be around 1 hour. And for the next session, I guess that can get a stretch because for the today's class mostly will be the installation and everything. So for today, there will be a limited time. Okay, so let's begin with the today's session. Let me share my screen. I hope my screen is visible. Everyone, is my screen visible to you? Okay, so I can expect that everyone has a code editor in your PC, right? And if you can just tell what code editor you use, have you installed any of the code editor? VS Code. Okay, perfect. So I'll just create a new directory and set up a project. cd frontend plus. Okay, sorry. Okay. So today we'll be seeing around the basics of like CSS and how in the current modern CSS everyone uses Tailwind and why is it so, how is it effective and why you should learn Tailwind CSS. So we'll be seeing around that. So first of all, let's just set up a project. Maybe like we can write nkdia day 4. Okay. I hope now it's in the large screen and it would be visible to you. I'll just create a new file, index.html, style.css. Okay. Okay. How many of you know about the code snippet? What do you understand by code snippet? I'll just explain few things. Okay. So, why most of the programmers or coders use VS Code at first place? Just understand this. Okay. So when you use a code editor like VS Code, it gives you complete control over your programming or coding. You can set up your entire project, write code, manage it efficiently, work with extensions. So VS Code is more of an software which helps not just write code but manage it efficiently, right? So if you see, VS Code gives you some kind of extensions. You can install few extensions. Like I would recommend you installing like code snippets. There are HTML snippets or ES6 snippets, ESLint, Prettier. These are the few extensions which I would like to recommend. You can install all those. You can also install this live server, which can help you to listen all those HTML in the live preview. So I would give you few of the extensions. You can install those, right? So maybe like you can install Prettier or ESLint, HTML snippets. So these are the few of the extensions which makes your workflow faster in writing code. Okay, uh, it's just an tool under the VS Code extensions, and you can install that free of cost, and you can use that. Okay, now just let me use a snippet and see how it's an easy thing to start with the. I just added an exclamation mark and it gave me a blank HTML snippet. Now I can write my code from here. Okay, so let's just write some of the code here. Maybe like we can create a button. Okay, and button we can select click me. And I have an extension of live server. I had already told about this, right? Either you can open this index.html directly in the browser, and every time you change the code, you have to reload, or else you can just simply install this live server. And what this will do, it will auto update the website whenever there is a change in the code. So now you see, I'm able to see hello world and click me. If I add something uh, other as well, p tag, this is a new para. And if I do save, you see it automatically added or updated the website. I didn't had to reload the page, but it auto updated, right? So this is how live server can help you with this preview part, and it will make it easy for you to manage. Now, uh, uh, do you already have knowledge about this HTML? Have you studied in the previous sessions? Anyone? What are the tags you have studied in the previous sessions and examples if you can share? What is HTML? What are the tags you have been learned? Anyone? Okay. So basically there are tags like HTML, body, head tag. For headings, we have up to from H1 to H6. For para, we have P tag, and then other like for images, we have IMG tag, right? So there are several HTML tags, and based on that, we write content, and then we use CSS for styling. So once you are done with the layout from the HTML, you design it with the CSS, and then you provide an interactivity with the help of JS. So how it is done? HTML gives you a markup or website structure, we can say. You define like heading, images, footer. You add with this HTML, CSS. You design the visuals of website, right? And then JS, JavaScript helps to add interactivity in website. So the best example for this can be you open a website like YouTube or Facebook. So if you see like there are a bunch of videos there, once you click on that, a new page opens. So all those interactions, page changes, page scroll, all those comes with the help of the JavaScript. Okay, so those are the scenarios where HTML, CSS, and JS work. Now, how many of you know about the Tailwind CSS? Anyone? Do you know about Tailwind CSS? Anyone? So I'll just explain about this. Suppose that you have a button, right? And you give it a style, maybe like background color, maybe we can set a blue, or border you can say, text color you can say white. Then you may have an called button on hover. You can have a button on like maybe green. You can do like those, right? So you define a CSS here, and then you can add those class. And first of all, you'll have to link the style sheet. Sorry. Now, if you see, we have this blue button here, and on hover we have this red animation. Let me just zoom in a bit, and you have the border. Do you see this? We have this blue background. We have a color text color white. On button hover we have this red, right? And it works perfect. Now, what we are currently doing? We are defining a class name here, and then we are adding those classes in the separate file. But what about if you can just simply add those CSS directly into your HTML file? There it comes, Tailwind CSS. What it helps with help of Tailwind CSS. So, are you just comfortable with Hindi and English both, or you want to continue with English? Everyone just wanted to ask. Okay, perfect. So, uh, for an example, what I've shown you, you have either two ways: write in a separate file, CSS, use class names in tags class, okay, or write with help of Tailwind. Now, what does Tailwind do? It has already all those class name what you can expect means. So in CSS, like we define first a class name, and then we define this background color blue. What with the Tailwind you will be able to do is you can simply write BG blue. It means background color, and then you are defining blue and the shade, like maybe 500 shade or maybe like 100, all those color shades. So if you visit this Tailwind CSS website, you would like to see that here I'll just explain what actually it does. Okay, let me just zoom in a bit so that I'll be able to explain. Okay, now if you see in this image what's happening right now, first of all, it's a flex colon item center rounded to Excel. So what currently it does? First of all, the direction flex. For flex, it means display flex. Let me just add in class. So it's like display flex. We can simply write this line of code as flex and then flex direction to column. So you see, we can simply write this flex and flex column direction. Either we can write here or simply we can write within the tag within the class name, and which is more easier for you to understand and to scale so that you can write the code rapidly in a speed manner. Right. Do you see the ease of manner in writing the Tailwind code? So do you feel like you can speed up writing this CSS with the help of Tailwind, or what do you think, everyone? Do you feel that you will be able to write CSS way faster than in normal CSS or the Tailwind? Of course, and that's why in the current in the past 5 years, the 95% of the websites, 95% or even beyond that, are powered with the Tailwind. If you see, like in the modern days, now we are even using AIs to write the code. The AI will eventually ask you to set Tailwind. And if you start with some kind of React project or Tailwind, React or Next.js or something, any of those projects, they'll recommend you to install Tailwind as an starter package only. So Tailwind is not that much kind of accessibility and embedded within the programming languages right now, so that it helps your workflow faster. Okay, I'll just give you few of the examples and we'll also see how we can use that. Okay, now first of all, let's understand one by one. Let me add this button. Just let's wrap. Okay, now we have a button. Let's define like background. We can say blue. We can say color white. Maybe like we can add some padding as well, and then we can also add border radius, maybe 5 pixel. Okay, now if we see, we have this button, right? Now maybe in your very large project you may have like button, you may have also like button primary or something, different variants, right? You would be also having button like secondary large, etc., large, right? So there are multiple buttons variants or etc. you would be having, so that to manage everything it gets more complex over the time. Now what will happen with this, what are the problems you will face? CSS files will become very large. Naming CSS will be a very difficult task for you. Maybe like if you see, we have currently these variants, right? And later on if you want to add some more thing, you'll have to think about what name shall I keep. for this class name, for this button or something, right? So naming classes become difficult. There are unused CSS sometimes that you do not have or used all those CSS and is still relying on those pages with extra spaces. Then we have you always have to switch between HTML and CSS here. You also have to deal with the style conflicts, everything, right? So there comes the tailwind CSS. Now, what's tailwind CSS? First of all, tailwind CSS. So tailwind CSS, you can tell it as it's is a utility first CSS framework. Okay. Now, instead of like writing button, you write background blue and padding. Let me just write here itself. It will be much more easier. Instead of writing like a blue and padding, right? Just keep padding. Okay. Just keep it simple. Now, instead of this, what we can do, background color blue and padding, we will be able to simply write like BG blue, maybe 500 shade. We can add like padding of P3. P3 means like P for padding, and 3 is an option basically in Tailwind. You can see P1, P2, P3 like this. It means one is for 4 pixels. One is 4 pixel means when you write P3, it means you can provide 12 pixels of padding, right? So same way, you can also add text color tool, maybe like white, and you can also have an border radius. So you can provide like a rounded SM, LG or something. So if you see, we are able to write CSS within this HTML tag and without having the naming convention. So if we scale it to a large project size, now you'll see that we do not need to know about the class names, that we do not need to define anything. So that we like button primary, button secondary, that we have to define. There's nothing to deal with that. We can simply write all those CSS within the HTML tag. And that's the beauty of the Tailwind CSS. And this way you can scale your complete project. Okay. Now, what is it is called basically for the styling? This is called frameworks. Framework is basically which gives you complete set of tool to work with. So what does this rounded MD means? It means the by the name itself corners. You see this roundness, border radius. Just a moment. Let me drink tea. Okay. So roundness, just rounded MD, it means the roundness, the corners, and the size. MD, SM, LG, these are the sizes variants. SM means small, MD means medium, LG means large, XL means extra large. Okay. So the naming convention very easy to understand. It will take some time, of course, to all learn all those, but it's very easy, and the naming conventions are very good in the television, so that it will be very easy to understand for you. Okay, now to understand first, what does you understand by the meaning framework? What do you understand by this word framework? Anyone? What do you understand by this word framework? Okay, just let me give you an example. Okay, now just this is not a real world example, but to explain something, I'm telling you about this. Okay, so your laptop consists of many things. To actually run this laptop, you have this CPU, GPU, maybe keyboard, mouse, right? Everything you have. It is combined under a single machine so that your laptop can actually work. Same way, what this coding frameworks do, that it gives you set of tools, maybe pre-install or they will recommend to, so that it can actually make your work faster. Okay, so to scale your design, maybe there are multiple UI frameworks, we call it, such as Bootstrap, Material UI, or maybe Ant Design or something, or currently the Shatshi, and that is of course customizable. But these are the UI frameworks. Now, instead of like creating your own UI components, like every time you need to create buttons or maybe like header, footer, everything, right? So instead of creating everything, these are the frameworks which gives you the design, and they tell you just you can simply use that my component, and you do not have to style those. It's simply like writing the HTML tag, and you already get the design from the very start. So you don't have to write the CSS. Like in the Tailwind, you have to design everything your own, right? But with a Bootstrap or Material UI, for these things, you'll have to use their own design. You cannot customize. So if you see the example of Bootstrap, you see here like is tabs and everything. So they give you this kind of HTML tags. You can simply install your Bootstrap CSS, and you'll be able to directly use this. Right. This is how UI frameworks works. That they give you a certain line of code, you just simply copy and paste, and that shall work directly. You do not need to manage all those CSS or write all those active CSS. But if you want customization, then you can of course opt for Tailwind CSS, right? So UI frameworks is that they give you complete design system, everything. You just write need to write the HTML code, and the UI comes pre-made. Whereas with the Tailwind and everything, the other frameworks, you'll have to write your own CSS. You can customize everything. So for customizations, there are like Shatshi, which allows you to customize your own. While Bootstrap and all also now offer customization, but they are mostly tied with their own styles. While Shatshi currently now allows you to customize with your own styles. Okay, now these are the UI frameworks. For the utility framework, we have Tailwind CSS, right? For Tailwind, we can like I already told you, it's simply like building your own design. Now, why eventually Tailwind became this popular? Companies like large companies, mostly like the GitHub, Shopify, or even Netflix, Vercel, or even any of the large website, if you see currently right now, mostly are written via the Tailwind. What are the benefits of Tailwind? Faster UI development, as you already seen, that we do not have to waste our time writing in the style.css. We can simply write in the HTML file directly, right? It has like a small CSS bundle. Whatever you write in this HTML tag, only those styles CSS will be generated at last. So the only utilized CSS code will be generated. Okay. Then you can customize everything you want according to your own. It's most of the time responsive by default. So, and the other thing is no naming headache. So, like you don't have to think about what shall I name this button or not. what shall I name this component, right? So one of the example I would like to tell that once I was writing this code back in I guess 2021 when I started, and that time what happened, I had some of the nested components I had to make or drop down, and at that time I was so confused and pissed off writing the CSS names because I don't actually know what to write about the class names. So I was just confused about that. But with the Tailwind CSS, I was easily able to write whatever the class I needed to on the component. Right now, the other thing is about traditional CSS versus Tailwind. So I'd already shown you about how we create a class name in CSS and then utilize that class name within the HTML tag, right? That's the traditional CSS, and in the Tailwind CSS, of course, we directly write in the HTML. So this is the most of the like installation. No, sorry, the initial part of the uh, CSS, how you will be using Tailwind. Now, to proceed with this, we'll be seeing directly with the React part. Okay. Uh, so, how many of you already know about React? Because instead of like having a learning curve with the HTML, CSS, and JS, I would want that you are move directly within the React ecosystem, so that learning would be much more easier for you. All this HTML, Tailwind, and CSS, everything. It would be within a one go. So, how many of you know about React? So, React not done yet. We'll be installing that. Today, the most important thing we'll be doing is the installation part only. Today's session is not more theoretical, but most of the time we'll go with the installation part today. The coding and all this programming we'll be doing tomorrow. Today is most of the installation and the overview. That's why. Okay. Like, do you know about React? My question was that. UI library, yes. Okay. Yes. One thing to clarify, you would be seeing many of the debatable questions in the internet. React is not a framework. React, no, React is not a framework. So keep in mind, React is not a framework. This is just an UI library which gives you more of the tools and which can extend to a framework, but it's not a framework. Okay, it's just an UI library. Oh, okay. Sorry. Uh, okay. Okay. To set up with this React, you need few of the things. First of all, you need to download Node.js. I'll explain in the next session what is this Node.js, npm, everything. But first of all, today download all these softwares and keep it running so that tomorrow when I just start the session, I'll be able to explain everything. Okay, I'm just providing you the down URLs and I'll give you around 5-10 minutes to verify everything and get it downloaded. Okay, so these are the website. You can just click on get node.js and based on your system, you can use those commands. Like if you are on the Mac OS, that of course you can simply use brew or something. Or if you are in the Windows system, then you can use either PowerShell or something, or even you get an executable file if you want. For the Windows, you can get the MSI file. Okay. Uh, everyone just download this Node.js, and if you have facing any problem with downloading and installing Node.js, just do let me know so that I can help you out with this. I guess that's not too much of the size, so it shall get downloaded within 5 minutes. I'll just wait for it. Everyone just download the Node.js. If you are facing any issue, just let me know. And just ping in chat, are you downloading this Node.js or not? Have you visited everyone this website and downloading these Node.js? Okay, you can get it downloading in the background. I'll just move with the next thing. Okay, so once you get installed this Node.js, to set up a React JS project, you can visit the documentation React website. Now, just to mention one thing, React now officially helps to work with a framework, React-based framework. Frameworks such as Next.js. But as you're beginner, as you're just starting out, I still prefer the React normal, create React app. Okay, so there are frameworks like Next.js, Remix, or other, but you still have to stick with create React app for now on the learning phase. Once you know about that, then you can move with the framework, because the transitioning from the normal HTML CSS to React, that itself is a very big transition. So that you do not move directly with the framework part, just move with the UL everything, the React JS, and then later on, once you are completely aware about the React JS, then you can move to a framework. We'll also see how frameworks enhance your uh, programming. Okay, so once you open this React JS website, click on learn and installation. You can see create a React app. Now, if you see, there are a note, full stack frameworks do not require server, all this create client side rendering, single page apps, and everything. You can see, right? Now they're promoting like Next.js, App Router, React Router, Expo, or other frameworks. But we need to start with Create React App. So we'll be using Create React App to set up a project, and then we'll see how does it work. Okay. First of all, how many of you have installed Node.js? Because to set up a React project, we need Node.js installed in our system. Without the JavaScript runtime, which is a Node.js, we cannot use React.js. How many of you have get it installed? Anyone? Anyone? Okay. If you see in the website itself, what they are telling you, consider using a framework. Starting from scratch is an easy way to get started using React, but a major trade-off is to be aware of it that going this route often the same building your own ad hoc framework as your requirements evolve. So basically, it's telling that frameworks give you complete set of tools for your project, while create a React app is a very basic thing. Okay, but of course, for a learning curve, frameworks are a very high learning curve. But for the Create React app, that's the easy thing. So we can use that. Now, if you see in the React app, if you see, okay, yes. So what it happens, how it works basically, you first of all have to write a function and we can return something. Okay, so suppose that if you see they have written a function called function my button. Are you aware of this JS syntax? Have you seen this JS? Like, do your previous mentor has told you about this JavaScript? Listed JS or some part of the JS in the previous session. Previous session, have you been taught about the JavaScript? Anyone? Anyone? Have you been taught about the JavaScript? Basic, yes, that's what I'm asking. Okay, so like in React, it's mostly about the function components. So like you define some of the functions and write based on that. So if you see like in example how creating and nesting components works in React, React apps are made out of components. A component is a piece of that UI interface that has its own logic and appearance. Example, if I say you, so suppose that you have an website. Okay, in the most modern websites, what you see is header, then you have an footer, and then you have some of this like maybe some piece of content here, right? Now, eventually, when you change the page as well, the header and footer looks same. Only the page content gets changed, right? Header and footer remain same across the website, but this only the page content gets changed. So what happens there? Either you can write same header and footer code for each page, right? You have two ways. Write same header and footer code in each page. But if you need to change anything, would require to update entire website, right? The other way is create a component, create a UI component and use it wherever required. So React helps this. So maybe like we can write It may be function header. Okay, and then we can return maybe like we can have a div or something, right? Or this is header. So this is how like header component we can make, and then in other pages we can simply use like header. Same way in the documentation also they are mentioning about this same. They created a button function my button and it returns that a button tag which is calling I am a button text. Okay, and then they are simply using that component in a different. So now when you render this function in the UI, so what it will show the h1 tag welcome to my app and this component. What this component is showing? The component is showing a button tag. So in the website it shall show welcome to my app and the next to that would be a button. So that's how a nested component works within the React, and it makes your life much more easier to scale anything. The example I showed you is the same, that either you can write the same header and footer code for each page, or you can simply write a single component and reuse that. Okay, I hope you are a bit of clear about this. Here is an also implementation regarding this. So if you see, they created a button and then utilize that button component in the main function, and it's rendering welcome to my app and I have a button. So like do you have some kind of clarity around this, how nested component worked here? Understand that this is kind of a component to understand as a beginner, but of course once we start looking all those things in the tomorrow session, it would get much more clear for you. Currently, today we are just seeing the overviews so that you get an idea about this. So once I just teach you in the tomorrow session, it would be much more easier for you. Okay. So this is what about the React JS, how it works with the components and nested components, right? Uh, is there any doubt until now? Is there any doubt? Whatever we have seen so far, just let me know. To set up a like project, we have create React app. I'm not sure if this command is active or not for now. CRA app, npix create React app. Let me just check if that eventually works or not. Till now, create React app and test. Yes. Okay. To install a create React app, we write the command of npx create React app and then the folder name or the project name you want to keep it. So once you add this command in your terminal and to the desired location where you want to install the project, you can simply write this command and press enter. So it will set up a React project for you. It will take around 1 to 2 minutes for the first time, and it will install the necessary packages and itself work. Export default function app. What is the use of that while declaring a single function? I'll explain about that, Neeraj. Once we set up the React.js project, I would certainly explain all of those goes one by one. Directly, you won't be able to understand the use case of that. Once you see the project structure, that's why I'm just creating setting up the project. You'll be able to better understand. If anyone has already installed Node.js, try running this command npx create react app test. Although it's deprecated, but we'll have to start with this only. I'm just pasting that command. If you anyone has installed Node.js, try running this command. It will take some time and it will install. Okay. If you see, it has installed in 1 minute, and some of the packages also got installed. Now let me just check. Yes, let me switch to cd test and then open code. Now this is my working directory of React.js. Now if you see, there are certain files which got created. The first of all is readme.md. They're explaining about how you can use this create React app, how you can run. Okay, so they are telling that you can use npm start to run this React on the development mode. Then you have a package.json. It's JSON. This file contains basically what are the things you are installing in your project. So it keeps a track of those. Then there is not git ignore. Will be also saying what does it mean, how does it work, how does it prevent for access code push. Okay. Then we have this slash public folder. It consists of like assets, you can say, like kind of images or robot.txt files, something. So all those files goes in the public folder. Your main code relies on the src folder, and node modules is basically the packages or something, which will be explaining in the later sessions. So the main code of your project, which are there in the React project, it all goes under the src folder. So now you are seeing that app.css, app.js, app.test.js, index.css, index.js, everything, right? So these are the entry point. Now, to run this React project, you can write npm start. And if you see, it will start the development server. It will ask for some permission and it will open a localhost 3000. So now what it says, this is the entry point of the React project. Now it says edit src/app.js and save to reload. So if I just change any of those things here, maybe I will write index.js here and I'll save it. If you see, it just auto reload and now it is has been updated. Edit src index.js, right? So it auto updated my website same way like we did with the HTML with the live server, right? So this is how you can set up a React.js project, and you can have an workaround in this. So maybe like in the tomorrow session, we'll actually see how you can install what is Node.js, what is npm, what is the Node version, what are the package tooling, because these are the things you need to be aware about before moving into the Node.js ecosystem. Because React.js is not just a one thing; it has a lot of things previously to be known. Okay, I will share some of the topics with you maybe by tomorrow morning. In the daytime, you can have a look on those so that once I discuss all these topics in the tomorrow session, you will be able to better understand all those things. Right. For now, how many of you have installed Node? Let me just generate a poll. Polls. I'm sending a poll. Just everyone opt for it. Everyone, please opt for poll. Have you installed Node.js? Please opt for poll. Only 5% have voted yet. Uh, those who have not opted for poll, are you facing any issues with the installation of Node.js? Okay. Okay. Let's just see about installation of Tailwind as well for now, so that for the tomorrow session we can directly jump into the check. Okay. So what does it say? Using weight, we are not using weight. We can use with the post CSS method. Okay. So we can simply click on this. Right? No, not in post CLI framework guide React.js isn't there. Hmm, we'll have to jump with the React router maybe then. All of the documentation has been changed as create React has been deprecated. The most common approach is to use a create React router. Got it. Maybe can for now use the post CSS method. Open a terminal and install this Tailwind CSS, post CSS. Then in the post css.config.js, which will be supposed to create, add a post file or wherever post CSS is configured in your project. I guess it's not yet configured. Actually, is also I guess they have removed the documentation for itself. We'll have to move with the wheat. Okay, maybe like in the tomorrow session, then we'll have to move with wheat as this create React app has been deprecated and we'll have to use wheat. Yes. Okay. So I am writing few of the things. Please go through them once so that in the tomorrow sessions, you know what we are doing. So first of all, Node.js shall be installed. Try setting up React project with this command. This will give you an idea, but eventually we'll have to use read.js command. So you can use like wait, and this will give you an option. I'll just if you write this, it will give you an option to set up with the React. I'll show you. You see, when we added this npm create wait latest, I can provide like wait project only. You can say like let's keep it wait. Then we can select a framework what we want to use React, we want to use JavaScript, of course. We can use npm, right? So you can use this command to set up the React project. Okay, now if I open this, now you see this is a new React.js project but powered by Vite. Now, as I mentioned you that this create React app has been already deprecated. So the new standard way is to go through Vite. Now, if we try to install Tailwind using Vite, now if I open this cd Vite, sorry, code. Now I can install Tailwind. Okay. Then this we can install in white config. Okay. Open this white config.js, and now we'll have to add those tailwind line, whatever it is there. So select the second line and paste it here, and then we'll also paste this tailwind CSS here. Okay, and in CSS src app.css we will have to paste this line, and I guess that's done. Yes, start with you make sure compile css in the head tag. uh, I guess it's already there, or maybe we'll have to just keep it that way in src and app.css. Okay, so this is how like we can set up our react with Vite and also the tailwind css. If you are able to set up it by your own, that's okay. If not, we'll be also seeing with it tomorrow. And if you ever face any doubt with this, we can simply discuss in the session itself, and will help you out. Have you anyone did tried setting up this project, and did you face any difficulties so that I can just check right away? Anyone? Did you face any issue, or did anyone even try setting up the project? Okay, no issues. For now, for today, you can just get the Node.js installed and try running these commands. If you are able to set up the project, then good. Else, in the tomorrow session, we'll be looking into it. Right? I guess for today, it will be this much only. Uh, Today was the only installation part. For the theory and the explanation. Everything we'll be doing from the tomorrow session, and we'll be doing the actual some of the projects there in the React.js. If you have any of the queries, you can ask. Today's session was very short. I'll just wait for 2 to 3 minutes. If you have any questions, you can ask. If anyone has any questions, you can ask. Sir, I've started about the attendance and ask that in the group, and I guess Samir will be the one who will be guiding you with this. I'm the just mentor. I will be the one who will be teaching you the session. Other than that, I guess Samir will be the one to answer. I guess there's no any doubt that can we end the session. Then we'll see tomorrow. Sorry. So we'll see tomorrow about setting up the project and doing all those projects. Okay. I'll just stop the recording.